We're filming.
Right.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're back.
Sweet.
You want to take it?
What's up?
What?
Yes, sure.
Okay,
Hi.
we're
So
going.
quiet on set.
She's been waiting to do that all day.
I have. Hi guys, we are back with the wonderful, beautiful, and talented Catherine Hicks.
Oh, you go on too much.
And this is Catching Up with the Camdens. For those of you who don't know, that's what you're watching.
Listening.
Sorry if it was an accident.
it's
but,
just, it's not even visual.
It is visual. That's why the cameras are
we're
there.
here.
Oh,
no, that's
okay.
why we aren't all naked, because it's visual too. But we can be if you want to be.
Okay. Wow. We might want to start all over.
Okay.
This is why they don't let me do the
take two.
intros. This is my first time being allowed to
That
do
is
an
not
intro.
true.
You're allowed
Yes,
to do
it
the
is.
intro.
True. You have
That's
done the
shocking.
intro.
On this
Scandalous.
This-
You let her do the intro.
We do, but she always goes sideways. We're just trying to keep us like on the
Okay,
path.
all right, let's
So
do it
anyways,
again.
Mac, let's try it again.
All right.
Take
welcome.
two.
Okay. Can I go? All right. Welcome back to another wonderful episode of Catching Up with the Camdens. We have the beautiful, talented, amazing, tall Catherine Hicks with us.
Youthful.
Oh, yes. Just, she's such a glow about her.
And who are you?
I am Ruthie Camden.
No.
Also known
Simon
as Mackenzie
Camden.
Rosman. Yeah.
We couldn't hear
Simon.
you because Ruthie was talking.
Sometimes I played Matt Camden. That's a lie. And Beverly's here too.
Awesome. So, Catherine, how you been?
Thanks, Mac. No. Sort of a little
I'm
acid
going to be
trip.
presenting at the Oscars.
Sort of just goes,
What?
you're just a piece of work.
Should we
In a good way, right?
should we try that again from the top?
Do I need to do it again? I'll do
I
a
mean, we need to
boring one.
keep it kind of professional. This is actually a let's make it
Okay,
a little bit
all
more
right, all
professional,
right.
less.
Opening, take two.
This is take
Three.
5.
Take four.
Welcome back to another episode of Catching Up with the Camdens. Our wonderful TV mother, Annie Camden, played by Catherine Hicks, has joined us on this fine, rainy Wednesday morning. And we're going to chit-chat
What's
about
your name?
Stuff. Oh, I am Mackenzie Rosman.
I'm-
Sometimes.
Mostly David Gallagher.
Except for when he's Mackenzie Rosman.
And I am Beverly Mitchell, and I'm trying to keep this train on track, so I apologize.
She does a great job.
Yeah,
This is
just
why
not
they don't let
very-
me speak.
That was decent, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
Now let's continue.
Catherine,
Yes.
I have to say, everyone has gone bonkers about you being on here, and
really?
you are
Really?
the hit of the town. Everybody wanted so much more. It's like you just gave us a taste, and we are so happy to have you back because
you.
literally you are like everyone just loves you so much.
Well,
and,
thank you.
And I don't think you realize like how much of an impact Annie Camden has had.
Well, I do hear from fans on the street, and they sort of cry into my arms. And I'm not making fun of you guys. It's just, you realize that our 11 years was worth something to the human beings that were watching it. And that's really neat.
You are mother to us all.
Well, and we started
Because of Brenda's writing, I must
You
say.
remember a lot because we don't remember a lot.
Do I? Oh.
Remember what, right?
But no, I remember, well, you see, way back in 96 when this started, I thought I was going to go back into feature films, movies, because I was in turbulence with Ray Liotta, so I felt really cool. This came along, and Aaron kept saying, you've got to do it, you've got to do it. But then once I met you guys, it was, there's just no more thinking about it, and the writing was so good. I mean, you could act. Your chops were in comedy and drama. There was just so much.
You could act.
and we
by
have
the
to
way,
say, yes,
we,
let David take
we
it.
have,
We were learning.
We've been rewatching the show
Yeah.
on the pod. We're probably at this point about halfway through the first season.
Okay.
By far and away, Catherine, your performance over the first season is stellar.
Really?
You are
Yes.
so
It's amazing.
You are
Thank you.
so
Effortlessly,
likable and
like,
charming
yeah.
and effortless and all of those things.
Yeah, good.
But and you're funny. like all of your jokes land and your knowing looks and all
your
of
reacts.
those moments
Great.
are
Good.
so excellent.
Well,
It has
thank you.
been
That's
my
nice.
favorite part of the rewatch has
Oh,
been
that's
watching
great.
your work
Yeah,
over the first season.
you are leading the MVP status from
Well,
David.
you
because
guys lead
David gives an award
points.
to each episode, and you far and
Thank
away
you.
have.
Well, I worked real hard at it because I was an English major in school. I wasn't in the drama group. Graduated college not knowing, but one acting teacher, because I took one little class, said you should go on. So I really took it seriously. Went to Cornell for my master's in fine arts acting, took a bus to New York, got on Broadway. I mean, I was just like, I'm an actor now. So I'm glad to hear that because I would even brush up at Actors Studio in New York or, I just, God, I never took it for granted until sort of, well, seventh, a series, at first you're nervous and then you're so happy it's a hit. And then about 5 years in, I took it for granted. I mean, I stopped going, oh my God, I get to go to set today. And I feel badly about that.
No, I think all of us had that same roller coaster ride,
Really?
the
Yeah.
ups and the downs,
Yeah.
and eventually it becomes the norm and not
Yes.
something special, and
Yes.
then you find it something special about it again.
Yes.
We all kind of went through that, but seeing like I didn't realize how much of what I remember about the show was from the first season. Like there were things where I was like, I thought this was season 2 or 3.
There's been a lot of
I can't
that.
believe
Yeah.
that's coming up
Really?
so early.
Yeah.
And
Like
but-
The Color of God, I thought was like later in the season. I didn't realize like how we tackled that episode so early on.
Right.
Yeah, or the episode where you and I get lost together.
Yeah.
I thought was in the
Well,
second
because
season.
because
and,
in when you're young, it was a larger chunk of our lives, honestly.
Yeah.
So the
and so it's stretched
So it
out
was,
in our
you
memory.
know?
It takes up
Yes.
more space in our minds. Yeah.
yeah. That's
But
why.
but
you know-
watching your performance in the first season
That's good.
is just like I feel like the show really worked. You were like the glue of the
Oh, good.
family dynamic of our chemistry.
No
And it was
doubt.
so believable
No doubt.
and
I think you
effortless,
were
honestly.
the rock in which we all stood with, because I feel
anchor.
like you anchored us so much, and I think that it's clear that like I don't know. In my opinion, you were definitely the star. Like you were the heart, and it's so fun, and it makes total sense that everyone like loved Annie because like we're obsessed and love her too
Yeah.
so much.
Well, I think has Brenda done one of these? Because
No, not
no,
yet.
not yet.
the first we have to credit the creator writer.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a great writer, and I mean the first year, as with any series, it's really a challenge to keep that quality going for year after year. Of course, the whole standard is different now, or the format, but we would do 22 shows a season. I think the magic is always in the first year. I don't know
Yeah.
why. It just is.
Well, I think it's because the effort is there from everybody
Yes.
to get it off the ground
Yes.
and to make it something
Yes.
big, and then for all sorts of reasons, some of that effort can fall by the wayside
Yeah.
as it runs on its own.
Yes, yes.
You know,
Flatline.
but in the
Nice.
beginning,
Yes.
everyone's making it
Yeah.
work. So everyone's firing. You
Yeah,
know,
that's an enviable period of time. So
Yeah.
and I mean, there was the topics not only helpful to parents and children, like cutting or neurotic things, and the parents in those days, I think they never even knew how to say get to bed or nothing strict. And I think Seventh Heaven sort of taught parents what to do and or to be more loving.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was at sort of the tail end of the children should be seen and not heard generation.
Well, I was
think,
going to
too.
say it was the tail end of give them everything they want.
Okay.
Well, no, yeah, I mean,
I think we're back in that
that's
generation. Well,
think it
we
was-
just passed
You're
over
right.
that generation.
because I grew up in that generation, seen and not heard, and we were the '90s. Maybe the well, it's probably a mixture.
I'm sure it's different from household to household
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, but I think you're right. Actually,
Broad generalizations
were
are never
loving-
100% accurate.
no, you're right because. People would make fun of all our hugging, but I swear they copied us. And children got hugged more.
I didn't realize how much kissing was in the show. There's a lot of making out.
With the dad and mom.
Well,
Yes,
and
well,
you
and
guys-
everybody
spelling
else.
show.
with you guys,
Okay.
with Barry, with Jesse, and then we haven't hit my kissing scenes yet, but they're coming, and
No,
I'm
we all
horrified
get
for
there.
it. No, I know. I'm just
But it's-
saying.
but
I
it's
didn't realize
interesting-
how
Yeah.
much we dove in from the get go. It's a very affectionate show.
It is
Yeah,
an
yeah.
affectionate
It is
show.
a very
yeah.
affectionate
And-
show.
And with you guys, the mom and dad in the show, you guys are very affectionate right
Yeah.
from the beginning.
And I
But
don't
I think
remember
that's
that,
all
but
by
yeah.
design, because it's, I think, part of what the mission of the show was, so to speak, was to kind of idealize the loving family.
Yeah.
And that meant loving parents
Yeah.
with a good,
And
healthy,
healthy-
regular
I'm
grown-up
sure we gave
relationship
parents
and the parental relationships.
the role model to like close the door and have your special night.
Right. Have your space.
But I
yeah.
also
Yeah.
think what was interesting is like I didn't never recognized it in the moments because I think of my age, but now I'm seeing so much of that healthy relationship and also like the permission to be intimate with your partner
Yeah.
and also allow your children to see that love and also
Yes,
show
yes.
all sides of the
Yes,
relationship.
yeah.
But we're going to dive deeper into this in just a second. We're going to take a little break.
Hey, it's Beverly Mitchell. As a mom of 3, I know how hectic life can get. And cooking a fresh, healthy dinner every night? Not always realistic. That's why I love HelloFresh. They deliver easy-to-follow recipes like pasta primavera, chicken Dijon, and even pecan-crusted trout right to my door with all the ingredients included. And now, they've got ready-made meals that are chef-crafted and ready in just 3 minutes. I mean, perfect for when I've got 0 time, but I still want something delicious and homemade. Everything is fresh, high quality, and full of flavor. And with flexible delivery, I can skip a week whenever life gets a little too crazy. Feel great with meals that fit your spring schedule and make the season even more delicious. Go to HelloFresh.com/Camdens10FM now to get 10 free meals with a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied at discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
And we are back. Yeah, wasn't that? It was a quick
Oh.
little. That was like a witchy cackle. And I apologize. We're all doing our version.
Dame Judith Anderson.
But I think I do think that was also. It's been fun rewatching because I think there's so many nuggets that like kind of breezed past us when we were
Yeah.
shooting it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I also, I think we were also excited to like see how many lines we had, how many scenes we had. But like now we're seeing like as a whole, it's been really cool to see these like very healthy relationships. And I also love like the role reversal sometimes. Like Annie was a very strong mom.
Yeah.
And like against Eric. And there's a lot of strength in your parenting and also like and role reversal. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Annie was the one that
Yeah.
could do
Yeah.
pretty much anything.
Yes.
Right.
Can I
Like,
gush?
Yes, you
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Please gush.
So you're in the first season, as far as I could tell so far, and we're not done with it yet, and I'm sure it's gonna continue. But you're the most complex character in the family. So you have the loving relationship of the parents. You have great individual relationships with all of us that are shown in different lights. So there's moments with you where you and I where you could tell like I'm being annoying and you're sassing me back because I'm very sassy in the first season.
Oh, that's so
and so
cute.
but all done with love and very cute and lighthearted. You're shown with, they show your handiness, right? That was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
big character
yeah.
trait for you in the beginning that you or throughout the show, but that they established early on
Right.
that you are that you're handy, you do electrical work
Yeah,
and
boy,
you
that's
fix
acting.
things and you right. But and then we have this scene. We have the episode with the alcoholism and Aunt Julie where you rescue me from her when she's attacks me, and
I
we see
forget
the
all this.
we see
Yeah.
the mama bear come
Oh,
out.
it was
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
good.
This aggressive,
Really?
get off my kids,
Yeah.
like anger, like a switch has been flipped.
Wow.
We get to see where you and Matt get robbed in the
Carjacked.
car together.
Yeah.
You get
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
robbed.
you have that. You're holding it together and not letting anyone see that it's affected you until time has passed and that falls apart, and then you let that the anguish of that experience come out later, delayed. Not to mention that your mom passes in the beginning of the first season, and you have all of that complexity with your father. So that there's so much like depth to your character at the center of the family in the first season. It's all done beautifully and
written. I
yes,
mean, if
it's
it
all
ain't there,
written
you can't
amazingly.
do it.
But it's there's also scenes that I've noticed through the middle of the rewatch we're doing now where you challenge Eric on parenting stuff. You disagree with him and hold your ground or push back on him. You guys have parenting disagreements that you hammer out, and you're strong in those scenes as well.
Right.
So and there's an equality to your parenting and relationship that is demonstrated clearly. So all that stuff has been the most fun for me to kind of absorb as an adult watching the show with fresh eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I keep thinking that Brenda should hear this because she wrote it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. We all do what we're given.
I just love that my impression of the show was always that it was about the preacher and his kids.
Oh gosh, no.
And
yes,
it's the core, the anchor, the family, in my opinion, is you.
Yes,
and
that's
that's
the most well, that's neat. I think
agree.
the biggest misconception about Seventh Heaven, you can tell right away people who really watched it or didn't, it's not a religious show. It's not, I don't want to say 2025, but it's, it was far more intellectual, far more complicated, far more instructive, far more emotional, and far more relevant to everyone's life.
Well, I see that what they like to do on the show, and we talk a bit about this as we go through each episode, but they'll decide on a subject. There's a topic that's relevant to each episode, and then all of the different age groups that we are all kind of have our relevant perspective on that topic that are different. So you get to see the young kids deal with it, the older kids deal with it, the adults deal with it all differently.
Brenda, what a brain
And
child.
also from like even with Jesse and I, who were closest in age, they show the two different sides of how that same perspective, like how that age group could perceive it. One who is like from the far more sensitive one, and then one from like the one who is like kind of like the sportier and kind of had a little bit more edge. But that's what the beauty of what our show was. And I do think like much of what David is saying is a lot of people see this show as, the minister's kids and like the minister, like the basis of our show kind of launching with the minister. And that is, now that we're watching it, it's not. It's like you are the anchor.
Wow. Okay,
I think it's very clear.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And so about those perspectives, like obviously Eric's job on the show is to have that religious perspective, but it's not the central perspective. Often it's just another perspective, and it's treated equally amongst.
And I think
all of the perspectives.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but like say religious now, and I mean, he wasn't representing conservative, judgmental Christianity.
No.
And I'll say that. I don't give it. He was just reminding the family of, principles of love, charity, selflessness type of stuff. So I think that's an injustice too, because I just think people in the business maybe are non-watchers tucked a label on it. And in fact, as you were talking about it, I think if it perhaps on a main network or something, I mean, far less meaty shows get a lot of attention in the business. And we were under the radar because we were on a little network. But, the proof is in the pudding, and the pudding is the audience. And when people, and I'm not exaggerating, weep on my arms, it changed people. It helped them so. It helped them so. Even 2 weeks ago, I was getting my nails done. And this stylish, in Beverly Hills, she's stylish, and she had a little gun. And I thought, is that your daughter? No. And we were side by side for half an hour. And she was sort of intimidating because she was slim and really put together and rich looking. And so I'm just paying my bill. And to me, she wouldn't give me the time. She was, cool. I turned to go, and she throws herself on me and goes, "You kept me alive. My mother left us, and you kept me alive." It's that type of
Yeah.
Big stuff that I receive, and I mean, maybe as the mom, you guys don't, you know.
No, we all see pieces of that.
Yeah.
I think it's appropriate that you would get the brunt of that
Right.
kind of
Yes, we
reaction.
all,
Yeah.
the mother issues. Mother is everything to
I think
everyone.
it
But-
had
and
something
also
to
it
give
unders-
everyone.
Pardon me?
I think it had something to give everyone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, and I also
Yeah.
think that like you you were the mom that so many wanted
Yeah.
and needed.
Yeah.
And so being able to like connect and show that gratitude, because we've actually been lucky enough to even have a fan on the podcast, and it's been fun to explore like why things meant so much to people and like why they connected and how it impacted their lives. And I think we kind of scratched the surface at 90s Con, but like, you don't get a lot of time with the fans, but like the podcast has really opened up and you
I'm
really
glad to
have
hear
so
that.
many more conversations
Okay.
about the, how, whether we were their sanctuary, where we
Yes.
were their safe place every
Yes,
Monday
yes,
night,
yes.
or whether we were the reason why their family came together, or
I wonder. I hope so.
it's so many different things for so many different people. And, I watching it back, like I understand why everyone loved Annie and why everyone, and you just did you also had very complicated choices. Like I was also looking at some of your work and I was like, oh, wow, like that was a really cool choice. Like
As an actor,
as
because
an
the writing
actor,
makes the decision.
of course, but
Yeah.
of course. I mean, there's no doubt that we had phenomenal writing. Like our Brenda nailed it, and the fact that Brenda stayed with us was
that's the-
unbelievable. Like that is something that does not happen.
They all die when the writer
Exactly.
creator leaves. Yeah.
And I still talk to Brenda all the time and tell her like just
Yeah.
how
Oh, good, good. Yeah.
grateful and
Yeah.
and also reminding her of like how much gratitude we all have
Yeah.
for her trusting and believing and imparting these characters to us. And
She
and
gave us so much to bite into
she did.
as actors. I feel. Yeah.
But just also as great as the writing was.
Yeah.
There is no one who could do
Oh,
it better
thanks,
than you,
thanks.
Kath.
Yeah.
Like you literally were just.
I won't bring in the great irony of reality. We'll leave it all on sweet stuff because I have since learned how at the time I did it, I was a new mother. I didn't know how important, because I've been to therapies like psychiatrist therapy. The mother is everything. Freud knew it. It's the basis of mental health, the mom. And so, I mean, that just adds to what you guys are saying, how for everyone to have this mother image, and perhaps it was lacking in their own lives.
Yeah.
So everyone needs mom, and we all know moms are often not good moms.
I just love how crafty I felt it was, that it does feel by design, and that's Brenda, that you are kind of the true heart of the show,
Okay.
but then that is merely the stage on which you
Yeah.
kind of performed
Wow.
and killed it. And like
Thanks.
and so
Thanks.
watching, it makes me smile every time we go through one of these episodes, especially when I get stuff with you and I see little me,
So
doing whatever I'm doing. I have a lot of gags in the first season. I
Yeah.
do a lot of comic relief type silly stuff, which is great. But in one of the episodes, and I can't remember which one, I'm often I am sassing you or trying to get my way, and you have clearly kind of heard enough and are over it, but are still smiling at me and
good, yeah.
sassing me back
Patience.
knowingly and still like leading, as a parent, not letting me get the best of you,
Yeah.
but seeing all of that complexity and love in your eyes
Yeah.
as we watch the episode is like, it makes me smile every time.
Oh, that's great. I have to tell you guys something. Do we have 60 seconds? Oh, he's giving the sign.
Oh, well, on that note, we'll take a quick break
come
and
back.
then we'll have 60 seconds to tell us whatever you want to tell us. Okay.
Hi, everyone. We're back. I was just about to tell I had a realization sitting here between you wonderful offspring that the irony, we're talking about Annie's effectiveness as a mother, and that I, as an actress, played it well. But I'm looking at these 3 of Annie's children, and I have to say, we have camera now. They're now incredible parents themselves. I mean, Beverly has 3 kids. David has 2. Mackenzie has 1. And they are actively involved in sweating out the toil of parenthood. And they're just doing it so well. I can see their children's faces in pictures, and they're happy children. So I find it, I don't know if doing the show had a bit of influence, or they're just naturally good parents, but they are nailing it as mothers and fathers.
Well, I think that because Seventh Heaven and we grew up together. We grew up in this space. I think that there was a lot of lessons and a lot of passion.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had a lot of people on set too who really set an example about what it was to be a good guardian and to nurture. We were nurtured by so many people.
Oh, really?
Well, when we were, yes, by our studio teachers, by the hair and makeup people, by, that we could confide in every morning.
Wardrobe.
They were the first, by their wardrobe.
Cheryl and Carla.
So it really, it was sort of a village of an extended family. I used to say that I had about 100 aunts and uncles, and those were the people that built us up. Those were the people that, would say, you're smart, you've done a good job.
I've never thought of that.
But it's also...
That's amazing.
And I also think...
Did you feel that, David?
I did.
Yeah.
I always felt like, and I grew up on sets, and my parents always imparted to me that you always treat the crew like you would treat the most famous person on set. You don't differentiate between cast and crew. Everyone's there working together. And so but where that sank in and became the kind of the thing that I carried on in my career was on our set, where, when I think back on the set fondly, it's not us.
Yes.
It's us plus 100
right,
people.
right.
And so
Yes.
all of those faces.
Oh, man,
I
that's
think back
beautiful.
on
No job
fondly.
is more important than.
But I
than
also-
the
Yeah,
next,
we all
right?
did it
Absolutely.
together,
Oh,
and that
that's-
includes
So-
all the departments and everybody.
That's
you know?
why, I got over so I know a lot of actors don't like to watch themselves. And then, and I was that way for a very long time, but then I realized it was extremely narcissistic.
Yeah.
Because
You're
it's
right.
not like I'm just watching myself. I'm watching the lighting. I'm watching the wardrobe. I'm watching
Nice.
the makeup. I'm watching everything. And so, I can get over myself and suffer through the agony of seeing my face on screen
Yes.
from time to time because I want to see the whole picture.
See, that's
But-
that's why she's brilliant.
I will
I-
suffer my own performance
But I
to
also-
enjoy
You know,
everyone else's work.
That's
I
really
also
lovely.
think that what the gift of growing up on set is we had very specific relationships with each of our with everybody. So there might be one person who really wanted to nurture our, if they loved dogs.
I had
then-
Ursula,
so-
my ice cream hookup.
But we had, so we had all of these
the
different
Shiva.
relationships that we could focus on. And I remember someone teaching me how to knit. And so I learned how to knit on
Yes.
set. I
Wow.
learned my connection with Science Bob and learning about that. And then Cheryl, we had
I had
deep,
In
really
depth.
deep conversations about religion because she was Jewish and I was exploring my Christianity and wanting to know the difference. And so all of a sudden, it's not just about your crew. It's about these very, very personal, deep relationships with these people that you have for 11 years. So we were able to explore so much of who we were or learn about other people in this very tight-knit
Wow,
relationship.
I never thought of that. I have to confess, I glump on one image of little David. I felt or looked and being trapped and wanting to play basketball at break time and being told he can't. and what did they take it away? It was something so sad, and I thought, oh my God,
Well, it's because
these
you got so
children.
sweaty.
Hacky sack
It's because you were
So-
getting so sweaty.
So for a while, I'll reiterate that I'm very unathletic, but the crew guys, a couple of the grips and electricians and stuff we'd had a hoop outside by the ramp and they would go play like half court basketball and stuff at lunch, and I would like speed eat my lunch as fast as I could so I could run over there and like be like, can I play with you guys? And they were always cool and let me play and like let me have the ball and let me take shot. Like I kind of now know that they were like accommodating me as not only as the kid who can't get hurt as the actor on the set, but also as like, you know, a 10-year-old that they were trying to have a real half-court basketball game in 20 minutes. And so they let me play with them for a while. I played with them for a week or two, and then I'd go back to rehearsal just red-faced and sweaty, and I'd be all wet, you know, and they'd be like, and then they'd be drying my hair and having to like get me re-ready and stuff. And I loved it because I felt cool playing basketball with the crew guys.
Oblivious.
And then they told me like I can't do that anymore because I might get hurt, and for all of these valid excuse reasons, but really it was like you're wasting our time.
What you felt?
Oh yeah, I was upset about it for sure. And at the time I was like, it's not fair, you know, like we all have to go back and get ready after lunch anyway, and like what's the big deal?
And it's
you know,
sorta
I won't
true.
get hurt. I could play basketball, you know. But
Well,
like
I think I wonder what they do. I mean, do some kids get
Is that
to
when
play?
they started playing hacky sack?
Oh,
so then
Of course that is that,
because
yeah.
I got upset, then nobody was able to play basketball, and like and so then we started playing hacky sack, which like solved the you're gonna get hurt problem, but not the sweaty problem.
I remember that.
So and we got really good at hacky sack too, which I don't know is something you brag about, but it was fun.
I remember hacky sack.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was so cool is like, I mean, God, it's been so much fun because a lot of these memories, like I don't think about, but I think about like Daryl, and I think about Adam, and I think about all of
Stork.
these
Oh, I
Stork,
miss
and I
them,
think
yes.
about like all of these people who meant so much to us. And
Wonderful, yeah.
what has been incredible is we've actually had a few crew
have
come
you?
on with us, and what's been it's another testimony to what our show, the magic of our show, is everyone said when they talk about the sets that they worked on, the ones that were the most special, and they felt that they had a presence and they had they felt a part of it,
yeah.
was our show. And the way we treated, like Shauna said, you know, Happy had a trailer. No one treated a dog and their trainer with giving them a trailer and giving them that space and like treating them so, and which
That's
it's
not normal.
That's not
it's not normal. And then even Cheryl, our teacher, was saying like we each had our own trailer and we had our own space to create our learning environment. That was also not normal. Like normally you just cram all the kids in the room. They all have to have the same teacher. They're all in different grades. So we really had a very unique and very special
That's nice.
space that
If
at
only
the
we had known
time,
how fortunate
we
were
didn't.
at the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
but-
we
but-
had no idea. And it's amazing to also hear that as special as Seventh Heaven was to us, was just as special for the crew members who worked
that's
on
Right.
it.
Which is why I think Brenda, it would be really nice for her to hear
I think
that.
so too. Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Your revelation about how everyone chipped into making it, you know, a loving environment. The crew. I mean, I respect the crew for what they do, and I miss them. I miss the guys and the ladies, but I never realized how they enhanced your childhoods.
In
Oh,
a huge way.
We'll take a quick break right here and we'll be right back.
We're back, everybody. We're back
Back
with
from
Catherine
lunch.
Hicks.
Ta-da!
Catherine, thanks for
Oh.
coming back to hang out with us.
Oh, thank you. I love you all so much.
What were we talking about? We were just talking about while we were gone that in the wardrobe department they had we did one of those things on the door frame where they had our heights over the years, and of course by the
Who
end
kept
we
that
had
strip?
it was along the what?
You know, it was
The
probably like a
strip of color.
a strip of molding.
I think they just
right?
put magic
Yeah, it was
marker.
like it was the door frame in the wardrobe room where
What
our
a cool
seamstress was,
souvenir
where
that
we
would
did
have
our
been, though.
fittings. that door frame for the little closet we would
Right,
change
I
in and out
remember
of.
that.
That's where it was, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wonder who has it though.
Oh, I don't know if anyone would kept. They probably painted over
I'm
it.
just so
If
overwhelmed.
you go to that building and scratch
that
the
we're
paint,
all
you'll
here.
find it.
Is that
I know.
building still there though? I
And
thought it was not.
how-
The
now.
building?
Yeah.
I think the
It's
building's still there. We
making
gotta
me
find
I thought
out.
it was where the train
realize
was
how
built.
much we had.
Road
then,
trip.
right?
No, that
What?
there was
I'm
When
just
people-
so overwhelmed with this feeling of seeing you guys and then talking about the memories, and it all comes to life, and we were together so much. It's helping me not ever. It helps me savor so much.
How
Well, I
many rolls
think the
of
key,
Polaroid?
what's incredible about us all, like kind of being together and like it's such a foundation of who we are.
Yeah.
And like it wasn't just a show.
Yeah.
This was not just a show.
Yeah, we all
This
loved
is-
each other.
this
I
is-
remember when it came time to act for Christmas, around the tree. It's literally, I think that's what acting's supposed to
Christmas
be, where
parties.
you're not doing anything. When we say I love you, it was just the people we were talking to. It was each other. It wasn't Lucy or
I
Well,
miss
and
those
over the
those are the
years-
best Christmas parties though.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
had some great parties. We really
Except
did.
for the only person who couldn't party was Eligio and Juan.
That's true. Eligio and Juan
They had
were
to
our
cook the whole
caterers.
Christmas dinner.
They were the heroes on
they
set.
had such good
Man,
food.
You when you'd get there in the morning, we had a catering truck
they were
out back by the
incredible.
ramp. Okay, you're gonna hear about the ramp a lot.
The ramp
It's
is
my
my
favorite
day.
the
part.
ramp is iconic.
It to me is the when I think of set, I think of the ramp.
I do
But
too.
That's so
you
neat.
would go from the trailers up this big like a loading ramp for
Yeah, yeah.
a factory
in cement, solid.
into solid cement ramp that we had in the back, and that would lead you up into the stage. But then off the ramp is where we had our catering truck, and our caterers were Eligio and Juan, and you would get there in the morning, and you'd try to get there like 5 minutes earlier than you needed to be, so you could run over to the catering truck, and they'd make you whatever you wanted.
Best.
Whatever you
breakfast.
wanted
Was
for
it
breakfast.
waffles?
I'd be like,
No,
I want,
God, breakfast
pancakes
burrito,
and
burrito
breakfast
sandwich.
burritos and waffles
also
and
what they
just
do is
anything.
French toast with bacon and sour cream or something in
What I
between. It was yeah,
Oh, what I would
I mean,
give. to
I
have
just
that.
Mine
remember
was
they
a
were just
BLT.
like,
BLT. Yeah.
Every
there
morning.
was a little breakfast menu that would change, like that. We didn't have the same menu every day. It was
Yeah,
they would mix it up all the time. But literally, they were just like, "What do you want?"
It was
they
like a
also-
first
And
class
they make
restaurant.
Texas toast. You order toast, but it's always like actually Texas toast.
And as I
Pan-seared
remember
with butter
it,
on it,
Listen.
and I would
Correct.
just pretend that it didn't have butter on it because I never ordered the butter on it. But like,
Oh, that-
correct me if I'm wrong
sorry.
though. I'm pretty sure that they made everybody whatever they wanted too.
Yeah.
That it wasn't
Yeah,
like
oh,
a
yeah.
special thing they did
No.
for us as the kids or the cast. Like I'm pretty sure everybody could just get their favorite breakfast.
But I also
every
think
day.
what was amazing too is like they knew our orders, they knew our like our little nuances of what we liked, and they just always took such great care. And again, I think that that's what was magical about our show is like there was so much care involved. Like, and there was so much personalization and those personal relationships. So, like, we each had our personal relationships with Juan and Eligio. Like,
they were definitely the real MVPs.
yeah, they were.
well, I mean,
yeah.
for Mac, anything food oriented was their MVP.
Obviously.
So, like, we do know that.
Can we remember
amazing I'm
some
not 900
of little
pounds.
Mackenzie's moments? This lady was 6 years old when she joined, and she was a bit of a Shirley Temple with the cute hair, and she'd be put on tables and she'd dance, and she
a
was
monkey.
just like this sweet creature, and you had just this light and her like she is now. It's not just Shirley Temple. No. It's Mackenzie, because beneath that are the brown eyes. So there's a bit of wisdom and knowingness, and like, don't make me a trick pony. I am an actor.
Thank you.
And we're going
Yeah, I'll
through,
kill
and
you.
I'll say this, and I was going to say it later for other things, but I'll say it again later. But watching back, and I know that Mac and I were like a team out the gate. We did all our early all of our cute B storyline stuff was me and Mac getting into trouble. So
Yeah.
our chicken pox and our getting lost together and our bunk beds and all of that stuff and your stuffed animals and hooey and all that great stuff we did. But I'm just watching through this stuff now, and I'm watching you just outshine me, like constantly taking the moment and being like the cute, unbelievably cute, and nailing like the humor and the timing and stuff. It's
and there
been
was dryness
But
to it.
that's what I was going to
She
say.
has a sense of dry humor.
The
even then.
magic of
don't you think?
the magic of Mac was that you didn't play up the cutesy card.
Yes,
That's
she
what
downplayed
was
it.
That was what was always
Yeah.
great about you. Is
Absolutely.
it was
Yeah.
always very understated, and you
Yes.
were so much wiser
Yeah,
than your
yeah.
age, and so where most actors would be like, "I'm so cute," which is what I would
no,
have
that's
done.
what I'm busy doing.
You
It's
did
I
it.
go. I am in the
But
beginning.
you
I
don't,
am.
and that's what's so charming is like you're always like everything was actually most often throwaways, and the magic of the throwaway was because it was understated. You're just like it's so. It was so different than what you were used to seeing on television
Yeah.
because
That's why
you
I
were
never got a
used.
Disney part.
You were
No, but
Exactly. You're not Disney.
it balances out my
Exactly.
performativeness
Wait,
because
no,
I'm the
wait,
little
wait,
actor.
Thank you, guys.
But,
Wait,
but
sweet.
that's what it was great though is you guys
David.
were the perfect balance. You
Yeah.
guys fed off each other in such a magical way. You
Was
never
David performative? I don't believe so.
No, but when
In the
he's
beginning, I'm watching from my
What?
eyes.
Are you trying to
Watching
be
in the
cute?
beginning,
but
I'm
that's
seeing.
what was
No,
needed.
yeah,
That's
I don't think that we've gotten to the point in the show where I found my stride necessarily, but all of the cute jokes that are written for me, you could see the awareness of the joke
Okay.
in me,
Yes.
Okay.
and not in Mac. And that's not
I see.
to the detriment of
Yes,
it.
yes,
That's what
yes, I
makes
get it.
Mac's moments hit.
Yeah.
And you put the button on so many of our little vignettes that we do, our little gags. And I've been I was, the other night when Shauna and I were watching through some of the episodes, and I was like, God, she did it again. Then she just did it again. Look, she stole it. And I was like, but I'm proud of you and I love it. It's like, I'm not mad about it. It's awesome.
well, and I think that's also the magic of all of us. Like there was never no one was ever trying to steal anything from anyone. We all complemented each other so well, and you can see our performances growing. I can also see as we're diving deeper into the show, we're seeing the growth in those relationships and the trust in those scenes. Obviously some scenes are better than others, mostly speaking on behalf of myself, because I'm like, well, those were poor choices. But you can also see it's me growing as an actor and trying to learn and find that comfort space and trying to find
One thing
that space.
Stephen and I would talk about. It was a great acting lesson because a series affords an actor a great opportunity to learn how to relax, which is the goal of any acting exercise, be it,
Yes.
from actor's studio to any of them. So instead of breathing, like Lee Strasberg says, and really having to work up because you're doing a 3-month project, or a 6-month play, we were relaxed certainly after, I don't know how many months, maybe the first year. And so the work is really good because there's no nerves, there's no self-conscious, you're just in it. But even then, sometimes I guess my worst trait would be I'd feel myself acting, and that would feel like a good take. Stephen really had that. And we would help each other because when he was his best, he wasn't acting. And then we'd say, cut, and he'd go, that was terrible, I want to do it again. And I'd say, no, you weren't, don't do it. So,
You
it
weren't
became-
doing anything,
Yeah.
and that's why it was good. Yeah.
That's the most elusive part of
that's
acting,
the trick.
good acting.
That's
to do
It's-
nothing.
It takes you spend your whole career trying to figure that out.
well, we had Hannah and Alyssa, and they're like, well, we want to learn how to act, and I'm like, the key to acting is not acting.
And that's
But it's so easy to say, but so difficult to master.
yeah.
Because I think that is the most. It's so easy.
Well, you want to sell. You want to sell what you're saying. And
Yeah.
you have to trust. Of course, single camera film is different than television.
Right.
You can be bigger on television, I think, But the big screen, I mean, you know,
Yeah, film you dial it in for film. It's more important in film.
And then in
like-
theater, it's everything
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
exaggerated and has to be bigger. So it is like
because you're performing for the back row.
exactly,
Yeah.
and and you need to make sure that they can feel that emotion and they can hear
Right.
that emotion and they can
my
see
husband or
that.
any, they all say it about Robert De Niro, but Kevin saw it firsthand. He did The Fan with him, and he said literally, and Kevin knows a lot about acting and everything. He's a drama major. He said literally, when they're going action, you're just thinking, was he not, what, you know, it's like alarmingly like, are you phoning this whole movie in?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go to dailies and it's all there. A
you
good
phoning
film
them?
actor
Yes.
knows
I've
how
also
little
been
to
on
do for the camera.
Yeah, I've also been on sets, and this is how.
Oh, yeah,
and
you've
I
worked
learned
with
I
some-
learned this kind of later, on accident, because I was on a set one time, one of the sets that I was on, and the lead, there was like murmurs on the set about how the lead was like phoning it in. They sucked. They weren't giving it. The producers were upset. No one knew how to like get anything out of them. It was so boring or bland or blah, blah, blah. And you watch the project and you're like, they're the best part of the project. And it
They
all
were all
comes
little
out
monitors.
in the camera. You're not performing for the room you're in.
Yes,
You're,
the crew.
Yeah, it's all how the camera sees you, and that quiet confidence matters on the bigger screen a lot more. But I always thought about it like performing is about lying. Acting is about telling the truth.
Wow.
And so like
I like
so
that.
when if you're performing, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You know? And so and that's why in theater it's different, because theater is more about performing,
Yeah.
given the nature of the stage and the audience.
Yeah.
But for film and television, you're supposed to act, and acting is about finding the truth on the page and not lying, not being someone else, finding out how to be yourself in it, you know, to be genuine.
Yeah. 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 And it's more challenging than it sounds.
It is, yeah. It's a trick.
Yeah.
It's a trick of the trade that you have to. It's a muscle that you have to train.
And you have to prepare for it. You sort of have to, yeah. The method is where you pick things in your real life.
And I always found so much joy over the course of my career in figuring that out. Like the journey of learning all of this
Yeah.
was always fun for me.
Was John Travolta that way? Or was he big?
He was big. I mean,
You
my
were
memories.
4.
Yeah, well, my memories of him are more impressions of how he treated me and how I saw him treat everybody on set. John, the thing about John that was so impressionable on me was that I saw him joke and be kind and gentle and like hand on the shoulder talking to crew and to everybody on set. He said good morning to everybody. He was just a darling to everyone on stage. Everyone gushed about him. Everyone who worked with him loved him. But then years later, I went to one of his film premieres, and I had gotten to see him at the after party of the film and things. I wanted to just be like, hey, John, remember me? Like, we did these movies together, and it's good to see you and whatever. And he's like, how's Vince and Elena? And he asked me how my parents were by name, like
how does he
instantly.
remember that?
And I was just taken by the fact that like he remembered me and he remembered my family.
That's
and
amazing.
that he had a place in his heart for everyone he worked with,
Wow.
like that. Like that impression
That's great.
was I was like, I want to be remembered
genuine.
by
Yeah.
I want sets to remember me like that.
Yeah.
And so that was the impression that he gave me that lasted.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's so neat. Well, I'm out of here.
Well, thank you.
I'm done. I have nothing more to say except I love
don't?
you
Okay.
each so much.
Well, thank you for joining
pick Katie up?
us.
I have to pick Katie. Can I share one thing I'm so humiliated about? The last time we did our first convention, it was like nirvana. Just being together. It had been 2 decades or something. And then the second one, it was great too. The truth, when we were filming Seventh Heaven, I was so guilt-ridden. I had a 4-year-old that all I said, I was not nice to the kids at first. This great, Annie Camden, they're saying I acted. But in reality, I was like, I got to pick Katie up from school. I got to go. Bye-bye. I got to get. So then I proceed to, in the last, I'm still texting them about Katie. But I was just doing it to share with them. But then I realized, oh, no, they're like, it's still about Katie.
It is.
And
But
I was so
all of us are
embarrassed.
into
I
our
will
own
never
children.
mention-
That's natural.
No,
That's
but
just
by-
you
Katie.
being.
But by
yeah.
the way, we love Katie, and Katie's part of the family. And also, by the way,
You
that's
asked
what
us about
you.
our kids. We want to hear about yours.
Anyway, it's just a funny twist. But
And by the way, we love Katie.
yeah,
Yes.
well, whatever.
When is Katie coming on? When is
Katie.
So on
She's
their
outta
next
here.
episode, we're going to have Katie on to share her perspective.
No.
Yeah.
Katie. Okay. Well, it was nice to see you all, and I love you.
You,
We
darling.
love you so
love
much,
you.
Catherine.
We love you.
Are we getting married soon?
Potentially.
Okay. And
Yes, eventually when I get around
And
to
will
it.
baby
I see
Fern-
Bev is the wedding planner type. I'm not. So it might happen. Bev will plan my wedding
Oh,
when
of
she
course
gets
she'll-
around
oh,
to
But
it.
then we're going to Italy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's where we went.
I haven't forgotten Main Street, little eat real shake sometime.
But
when-
whenever you're in my neck of the woods, Catherine, you let
okay.
me know.
All right.
We'll go somewhere. We'll hang.
And our real mother is Bev. She was the
What?
mother all along, even when you were 14.
Absolutely.
You are. And that's a compliment.
Thank you.
All right. I'm out of here.
Okay.
Katie?
Hey guys, check us out on Patreon for early access to Catching Up with the Camdens episodes, exclusive group and individual content, access to all 3 of us via chat, and more.